I truly, truly, truly regret to inform you that the rest of this stream is cursed. Nation, I truly, truly, truly regret to inform you that the rest of this stream is cursed. And for the rest of the stream, you can only say nice things and compliments to me, period. That's it. You can only say nice things. And they don't have to be me. You can say nice things to each other. You can say compliments, but you can't say anything mean. And I can't laugh. Are you guys ready to paint a Ultramarine together? Today, we're painting Ultramarine. Are you guys ready? Let's begin. Let's begin painting. Oh my God, there is an earthquake. So when you're painting Ultramarine, the first step is to prime the model. It's the first thing you have to do. Whenever you paint an Ultramarine, you have to prime the model first. You have to. So it's the first thing you do. We need to make sure that we get all the mold lines off of it. So this is my mold line removal tool. So we want to come in here and make sure that there's no like extra flashes or any problems like that. Yeah. Luckily on these Indominus kits, they did a really good job with the mold lines. There's hardly any at all, to be honest. I think the mold lines are good on that piece. Anyways, so now it's time to start assembling our miniature. And this is where a really nice pair of miniature snips comes in handy. This pair you could get at Ace Hardware. So next what we want to do is put on a pair of gloves so that we don't get paint on us. This is an important part. You want to make sure that you don't get like primer all over your hands while you paint and stuff like that. So you were going to want to put on a glove. Okay, so let's build this model. So the nicest thing these days is push fit. You don't actually have to do anything. They just stay together, which is really nice. You don't have to trim anything. You just start sticking parts together. Just like that. Right? It's pretty easy. Sub-assemblies are nice. And I love push fit. I think it's cool. Let's make sure that we get these parts locked in. So let's... I like, lately I like a lot of super glue. A lot. So you can kind of see it. I put that all over the outside of the backpack to hold it in place. I think that if you do the super glue on the inside, it's I don't know, it doesn't add texture. You know what I mean? So yeah. And then also too, we don't want this guy to drop the banner, so let's add a little super glue on his hand. Just a little bit of super glue. It'll dry if you blow on it. It helps speed up the dry time. This is see, this is for Ultramarines. You could tell right there. So let's get out this cap. This is how you open new paints. Oh, here. This is how you open new paints. So let's do that. See, you can see, so we started our base color, our first gradient. with the primer and the paint mix. So yeah, we could just dump that on a napkin. We don't have to clean it out. Just literally just dump it upside down. Just shake your airbrush upside down to clean it out. Okay, and that's how you do airbrush cleaning. Usually when you're airbrushing, I like to do just one thick coat. I like to just put on a lot of paint and just get it over with. And I let the paint just get into the recesses. It helps the model look more round and stuff like that. You don't really want all those recesses in there. So, yeah. There we go. Okay. So, now that we got our armor painted, we can take off our gloves that are attached to the miniature from super glue. So we'll just hold that on there for like basing. It'll help us hold the miniature later. So we'll hold on to that glove. It'll stay on there. What? See, this is why you use super glue in the build and painting phase. So anyways, if you guys use a dry palette, this is the best way to do it. All right, so we want a nice detail brush for blending. Yeah, and then what you do next, so you take your airbrush paint and again, you put it right next to your other paint on the palette, and then you make a glaze out of these two together. The chunks from the Citadel paint help add texture to the model, so this is why we do this. There we go. That's basically our armor blends, I would say. I think we're pretty good there. So we'll clean some of those up with a wash in a little bit. Let's see what oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you what we're painting today. We're painting a tactical marine. Have you guys seen tactical marines before? Have you guys seen tactical marines? Because these are the tactical marines came out in 2000 was it 17? 2017, Games Workshop put out a new range of models found tactical marines. And so the tactical marines were made from a different type of gene seed from the original Space Marines, the Primaris Marines, the originals. The tactical marines were made with a smaller gene seed. It's like when you paint with really thin paints, you just want to just load it up. Just get it on there and just let it move around in the recesses and stuff. Sometimes too, you guys, I don't always use a paper towel. Sometimes I just use my rubber glove as like a paper towel to collect the paint off my brush. Okay, the brush is clean. Okay, so we dried our paint, so now we can put a wash on it to bring the blues together. So this is a paint hack that I learned called glazing with washes. And what you do is you put it over paint that's definitely dry, and you just basically wash the whole thing, and it turns the colors of your paint to like one color that all works. So the paint, it works really well. You got to make sure the paint's dry before you do that, right? You can see the paint was really dry. So we're going to come in here to our dry paints here and just get a little on our brush. So before you dry brush, you want to make sure you have basically all the paint still in your dry brush. Almost all of it. You don't want to take any out. You just see how, look at how much is in there. You want like a lot of paint in there, and you want to make sure your part is completely dry, right? So this is ready for dry brushing for sure. So you come in and you just literally just start, you know, smearing stuff around and dry brushing it, and you're gonna start adding edge highlights and highlights on top of your miniature. And there we go. It is dry brushed. This is what's really one of the nice things about Citadel paints is you can get all the paint from back here, right? When you need paint, you just go to the back of the pot, and this is where you find, that's where all the good paint hangs out. They don't tell you that. So, okay, so we're gonna paint our parchments now. Pretty good, right? So this is also why I keep some of the paint in the ferrule, so that way I can just smear it around. If I miss a step, I can just go back to it really easily. So there's that. So those are painted. Here, let's give this guy a shotgun, right? Doesn't that sound cool? This looks like the kind of thing that this guy would be carrying as a shotgun. Okay. So, okay. Okay, chat. Okay. So now that we're ready for conversion, you just basically are going to want to cut it off at the wrist or like the forearm. It depends on like where you want to position the hand. In this case, we're going to go a little bit above the wrist. So there we go. That bit's gone. And we are going to attach this hand for the conversion. So I think that's a good spot there. Put down a little super glue. And then we're just gonna put that bit there. Here, and two, I'll show you a little secret. Basically, you just stick it there and you just let it stay on the desk to hold it in place. So there you go. So that way you don't have to hold it while the glue dries. Okay, let me show you guys a really cool hack. What you do is you hold it with gloves. Okay, so we hold it between our fingers and we're gonna let it dry for a second and then we'll take the glove off and it'll stay holding it. This is a pretty cool hack. I haven't showed you guys this one before. So, okay, so it's starting to set on the glove. So now we take the glove off and it'll be attached to the gun and it'll hold it. If you add some extra paint, it holds it. Okay, I'll try that if this doesn't work. This has worked pretty good for me in the past. So we'll give that a, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so see, this is the glove miniature holder trick. It's pretty good. So we'll leave that over there. It's gonna hold that in place. Can you tell us some of the lore for the model? So this is a tactical marine, and he's been out, he's pretty much been hanging out ever since Horus Heresy defeated the Emperor, and ever since Horus turned into Big E. So after that, the Ultramarines got released from a spaceship, and they sent out all these tactical marines. They gave them all a sword, a shotgun, and a pistol, and they just let them out. And so they parachuted onto the nearest planet, which is Mars. And these tactical marines, the Ultramarine tactical marines, have been hanging out there ever since. There we go. So we're just cleaning off our brush. You guys see? We just want to get the paint off of it. So now we're gonna get the metal. See, and then sometimes when you clean a brush, it gets it gets really nice and ready to go, right? You can just roll it around, clean it up more. So then we're gonna take this metal and we're gonna paint the metal parts of this face. Okay. And then there's like little spikes on top of it. So we're gonna get those. Okay. And this is why it's so handy to have like, to paint it on the thing. Like you could see like you have so much access to details. Like you don't have to move around other parts. You could just get in there and paint it really easily. You barely get anything anywhere. And the nice thing too is it's also ready to go on the model at this point. Like you just cut it off with a sprue, right? So it gives you something really nice to hold on to, and then you're ready to put it directly on the model. So, and we don't really need to wait for it to dry. It's ready to go. Then we just come in here and we'll stick it. Okay, there we go. And then we'll just put that in there. So, and this is how you put the head in there. We're gonna paint some gold on this model because there's a lot of like intricate small gold details. So we're gonna use this really good paint. The nice thing about Citadel paints is they never separate. They're really pure all the way through. They're really pure. They never separate, so you barely have to shake them. Right? So there you go. Look at it. It's mixed up really nice. You can see the pigment is not separated at all. So we'll be detail painting this model now with gold. So you just load up your brush, and you just start painting. Anyways, I've been experimenting a lot with this paintbrush. It's pretty good. And then we're gonna want to get some of these details too, like down here. We want to get some of those. You know, there's little gold details around the model we don't want to forget about. Like we want to get like those little skulls. Yeah, here, let's get that part right there. That can't. There we go. You don't want to have, you don't ever want to have too much paint on your brush, just the right amount. Like, see how much is on there? It's like the perfect amount. Yeah. So, yeah, this is how you load up. This is how you load up a paintbrush. Oh, there's 3 laughs. It's 15. I've been keeping count. Okay. So, there we go. We're gonna get all of our little details back here. You can't forget to drill your barrels. So you want to get all of them. So there's a barrel on this gun. So we're gonna get that. We cannot forget this step. So we're gonna get the barrel on the pistol right now. Right? Do you guys see? Let me use my model holder so you can see better. So we're gonna get the barrel of the pistol. We want to make sure that we don't skip that. We don't want the internet to make fun of us. So anyways, when you go to drill barrels, the important thing is safety first. So you're gonna want to hold it in a way that you can keep your fingers away from it and still drill it at the same time. So there we go. Perfect. So we used the glove trick to like hold everything together while it was converting, while we had the super glue happy. It's the same thing. Just cut off the glove. The rest of it can stay. So there we go. And that will help add like texture and realism to your miniatures. And then here, it felt a little wobbly, so let's get a little more super glue on there. There we go. There's that. See, sometimes if you glue it too much, you just have to cut it off is the only way to get it off the cork. Okay, and we're gonna stick that arm in here. There we go. Look at that. Pretty nifty, right? So we are gonna paint. So obviously it's a sector. What is this? It's a Necromunda Sector Imperialis base, right? So it's metal. Obviously, the entire base is set to be metal. So we'll just dry brush it all metal. And if you get a little bit on the miniature, it's okay. It just is it's realism. It just is grimdark when you do that. Okay, so you take your non-oil gloss and you just put it everywhere. It's really the best way to like get your model to all look good together fast. So non-oil gloss, just remember this hack, everybody. It adds a really nice finish to everything. Definitely want to get it on the face of your miniature. There we go. It's perfect. Okay, so when you're doing bases, especially like Sector Imperialis, like Necromunda bases that are entirely designed to be metal, lately I've been experimenting with adding nature onto those. So we're gonna glue some flowers on top of our metal base to just make sure that everybody knows that there's like, you know, that nature's real and that it's a part of our game. So here we go. There we go. Perfect. A clean base rim is a super important part. It's the final step on a miniature, right? It's the part that says, I'm complete with this project, right? So we're going in to use my favorite color for base rims. And we're just gonna take it, let's make sure that the brush is clean. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. We're just gonna try to take it right out of the bottom of the pot. There we go. And you just go around it and you get a nice smooth base coat. And just like that, chat. It's done. Pretty cool, right?